What is going on, my fellow movie nerds and geeks alike? This weekend, Vicky and I went to our 4th horror convention of the year already. Yes, 4 already.
Bruh.
Thankfully, after this one, we're taking a nice long break until, at the very least, like the Halloween season. Our second NJHORRORCON of the year. The first one was in Edison. This one took place in Atlantic City, where they used to do all their conventions. But it was nice to get down to Atlantic City again, back to their old stomping grounds, and check out how they had it laid out this year. The thing we always like about NJHORRORCON is that it is relatively small compared to the bigger ones we go to, like Chiller and Monster Mania. And this one was no different. But because the space was really small this time around and the weather is like kind of turning warm, summerish, it was very hot. But before I get into any of those crazy details, do check out all this footage I filmed. It's not a lot, again, but after this footage plays, we will show you our spoils and talk about the convention as a whole. So enjoy. Alright guys, so that was the New Jersey HorrorCon at the Showboat Casino in Atlantic City. As you can see, it was much smaller, but still a crazy large turnout. We had a good time aside from the heat, which, if you guys aren't aware, about 5 years ago, my wife Vicky had a traumatic brain injury she suffered from a fall. So she has been dealing with the effects of epilepsy since that time. And thankfully, over the past 2 years, it's been fine. But anytime she's in really hot, like cramped situations, it starts to act up. So we didn't spend a lot of time there this time. So anybody that we said hello to, I'm sure we'll spend much more time with you when it's not in such like a hot, cramped space. But anyway, yeah, let's get into what we picked up. So the first person we met was Andrew Hubitzek, which, if you're familiar with Pet Sematary, the movie, he played Zelda, the creepy sister with like that crazy spinal meningitis. That is just nightmare fuel, man. Like, I'm telling you, if that scene where she's just like squirking around the fucking bedroom and just, oh my god, if that didn't give you nightmares, you are a liar, man. But yeah, we had met most of the cast at like a convention about like almost 10 years ago at this point, and it was nice to finally meet Zelda, and he was such a sweetheart. Couldn't have been a kinder guy, which is insane because whenever someone's just like the stuff of nightmares from my youth, I'm always like kind of thrown through a loop when they're really kind in person. So yeah, this thing's about done. I think the only person we would need to sign it at this point would be the young girl who played Ellie, but she doesn't do conventions, so this thing's about done, man. We've met everybody else, and I can't say enough kind words about the cast of Pet Sematary if you ever run into them at a convention.
Never get out of bed again!
And the next person we met was Eileen Deetz, which, if you're familiar with The Exorcist, she plays the demon Pazuzu. She also played Linda Blair's stunt double when she's like spitting up all the pea soup puke and all that stuff. It was ironic that we met Linda Blair only a few weeks ago, so we had this poster already signed by Linda Blair, so we had Eileen Deetz sign this one. And if you're familiar with like the backstory behind these two, they have a little bit of like this weird beef. So when we met Eileen Deetz, I asked her, I was like, so like, what's the story? Like, can you like divulge anything to me? And she goes, yeah, it's no big deal. LB, as I like to call her, just thinks that I'm responsible for the fact that The Exorcist didn't win any Academy Awards, which is like really funny. Imagine like having such like a beef for almost 50 years over something that obviously isn't true. And she had lots of really cool art on her table. Couldn't have been nicer. And the next person we met was Felissa Rose, who of course plays Angela in the original Sleepaway Camp. We had met her a long time ago and had her sign like this mini poster. This time I wanted to have her sign my old Sleepaway Camp survival kit, the one that got pulled from shelves for having the red cross. This one just like kind of ends up sitting on my shelf with just the spine out, and I've always wanted to have it on display, so having her sign it gives me like an excuse to do that. And if you're familiar with Felissa Rose, she spends so much time with each person. She is so funny and just kind-hearted. We were talking to her because she had like all these weird drinks at her table. She had like a Powerade, she had this like pickle juice, like 5-hour energy drink thing, and I mean, God bless her soul. She's like, oh, I'm still recovering from last night, but was still such a sweet lady. She is a person you have to meet if she's ever at a convention near you. Thank you, Felissa Rose, for always being such a sweetheart. We don't go to every convention in our area. We just go to the ones where there's like a guest we might want to meet. Well, this one was a bit of a Friday the 13th reunion, which, if you know me, I'm diehard, man. I've loved this stuff since I was like 2 years old, and I have this machete that is signed by every single person who has donned the mask, and even Betsy Palmer. There were 2 Jasons that are going to be at this con that were going to be in attendance, and the first being Douglas Tait. He, of course, plays Jason at the very end of Freddy vs. Jason when he's walking out of the water holding Freddy's head. I had never met him before. He was a great guy, man. He is just essentially a stuntman living out his dream who's always loved these movies, finally getting a chance to play these characters. He also played Michael Myers in Halloween Kills in the scene where he's like standing above the car. He was such a really great guy and took a million pictures with us, talked about all the movies he's going to be a part of, and talked about his roles in these movies. So yeah, I was happy to finally add him to the machete. But the big letdown for me was I was going to finally meet Dick Weand, who of course plays Roy, Imposter Jason in Friday the 13th Part 5. If you're familiar with any of the stuff going on in New Jersey, there has been crazy flight issues in Newark Airport. His flight got canceled, changed, whipped around, what have you, and he had to cancel, and I didn't know. But man, my heart sank.
Oh, Jesus, God, no.
I was really looking forward to meeting Dick Weand because Part 5 is one of my all-time favorite Jason movies, and he is now the only person missing from this machete. I was going to have him sign the handle here and just really complete it. Hopefully they get him at the next one, or he pops up at a con nearby. And this one I can't really hold up for you here. We met Kane Hodder again. This is about like the 5th time I met Kane. He is just the man. He is a legend. He, of course, played Jason the most, I think, in 4 films. And he, of course, played Victor Crowley and just did so much stunt work on numerous films. He is always great to meet, always engages you in great conversation. He was joking around with CJ Graham, who was also there from Jason 6. They were just throwing jokes back and forth, and his buddy Steve next to him, who he killed in Jason X, was right next to him. It was just a great time. And I finally got Vicky to take a picture with Kane. All my other pictures are just with me. Fucking awesome guy. Can't say enough good things about him. Kane is one you gotta meet. He is a little on the pricier side these days, which I could complain about, but he's Kane Hodder, man. Like, go get your flowers, dude. Like, you're a legend, you deserve it. And in the grand scheme of conventions, people are charging much more than he is. Another thing I will say about NJHORRORCON this time was everyone was charging very reasonable prices. And I mean that by convention today standards. Normally these days you'll run into people charging like $80, but at this one everyone was like $40 and you get a picture for free. I'll happily continue to support New Jersey HorrorCon. They are small, great, really personal, and all their guests are always really kind. And we also met Johnny Horror, who is a friend of ours on YouTube. If you noticed at our last live stream, he popped in and was chatting with us. I've been seeing him at these conventions for over a year at this point. He does amazing convention videos, goes into great detail about what people are charging, how their signatures are, all that good stuff that we don't really talk about here. We're just kind of showing off what we got. But definitely go check out his channel. I will link it down below. And hey man, Johnny, if you do watch this, sorry we got like cut short. We cut out of there because it was just too hot. And like I said, Vic, my wife just wasn't really feeling too hot, so we just wanted to get out of there. But yeah, great to meet you, my dude. Check out his channel down below. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for our video on NJHORRORCON. Hope you enjoyed all the footage I filmed and all the pictures I got of us meeting all the guests and checking out all the stuff we got signed. Lots of great guests this go around. Kudos to NJHORRORCON. We love you guys. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for watching like always. We love you all. And like we always say, the horrors persist, but so do we. Adios guys. Leave a comment down below. See you next time.